The less reactive you are, the more you can fully align.
At this point, anyone can sound spiritual. Like just fucking chat GBT, like, hey, be a spiritual shaman for me and speak like that.
You can't fake or manipulate a frequency, but you can fake it until you make it if it's authentic.
There's a lot of people faking shit out there.
A lot.
But I don't think a lot of women understand like how deeply men love.
I was dating a guy. He was like, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. Like, I think you're so amazing. He's like, sometimes I think you're kind of autistic. And I was like, what?
Listen, man, Miami is a great place if you're looking to fuck around and have fun. Absolutely. But it's a horrible place if you actually want to meet your wife.
Most people would rather get hit by a car than public speak.
You mentioned tikkun, our soul's correction. What is yours? What is up? Welcome back to the Jeremy Awakens podcast. Today, we have a very, very special guest in the building. We got Liz Kennedy. Liz Kennedy is a woman who embodies strength, grace, and spiritual depth. Someone who is not afraid to speak her truth, challenge the narrative, and lead from the heart. Liz is a powerhouse entrepreneur, a devoted single mom, and a deeply connected spiritual seeker. Her wisdom is rooted in ancient teachings like Kabbalah, and her modern day mission is to empower women to reclaim their feminine energy, stand in their worth, and become magnetic.
Can you intro me everywhere I walk and everything I do in life? Wow, jeez.
I would love that,
Thanks.
actually.
Jeez, thanks, Jeremy.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. This is going to be really fun. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we're making this happen. So you've been in Miami officially for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
And before that, you spent most of your life in LA.
No, I was in LA for 7 years.
Okay.
I was born and raised in New York. I grew up in Israel till I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Came back and then ended up in California because of the TV work I was doing. I was on a bunch of TV shows and convinced my ex-husband to move out there, and we loved it until we didn't.
Was everything that happened during COVID one of the things that triggered you to make the move? Because I mean, you were there up until a couple months ago. So was it the fires? Was it the crazy government? Like, what was it that triggered your move from California to Miami?
It's such a shame because I really fell in love with California. The food, the weather, the lifestyle, like it sucks you in. There's so much to do. There's so much to see. It was COVID. It was the fires. We had a lot of friends lose their homes in the fires. My best friend and I started to feel like it was unsafe. I have a son, and I realized that I was yelling at him all the time, saying, you're walking too far away from me. And I was getting really mad at him. I was like, okay, this isn't healthy. Like, if I'm screaming at my child that he's walking too far away from me in a place that should feel safe and like home, then this isn't settling right with me. And then just personal things that I felt like it was time for a new chapter.
Yeah, it's really a shame. I'm from the Bay Area. And I moved out here like 10 years ago, but California is by far one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. Like the different landscapes. Like you have Lake Tahoe with the snow, you have Mount Shasta, Yosemite, San Francisco. Like there's so much beauty in one state. But Gavin Newsom and the government just really fuck things up.
It's really hard. It's really challenging, and it's a struggle because I never cared about politics until I realized it was affecting my child and my safety and my car and my home getting broken into. And as a woman, not feeling like I can go running at 9 o'clock at night. And I feel really safe in Miami as a woman, as a Jewish woman, as a woman with a child. It feels safe. And for me, I'm just always looking for safety.
Yeah. Well, that's a good transition, actually. How old's your son?
5.5.
He's 5.5. Okay. That's amazing. Yeah. That is, I think, I'm not a dad yet, but I think probably having a child shifts your entire perspective on life, because now it's like you're looking at life from a different lens. And it's some of the stuff they were doing in California, and I think they still are, is basically like empowering kids as young as 7 or 8 to actually transition their genders without their parents having any knowledge of it.
I've heard this. I personally haven't experienced this, but I heard that this was being discussed. For me, I think everyone should truly do whatever feels comfortable for them in their lives. I have friends from all walks of life that are gay, bi, Jewish, Arab, Muslim, and I think everyone should live an empowered, beautiful life. But I do think that there needs to be separation between what's taught in schools. I just think that's really important.
Yeah. And speaking of California, California is 50 times the size of Israel. You can literally fit 50 Israels into the state of California.
Actually, I didn't know that. Obviously, I knew it was bigger, but I didn't know like to what capacity. I mean, Israel's the size of New Jersey, so yeah, that would make sense.
So how have things shifted for you the last year and a half since October 7th? Like, you strike me as someone who's always been really connected to your faith and connected to the homeland. But being born in Israel, being a proud Jew, like, how have things shifted the last 18 months in terms of how you show up in the world, how you show up online? Like, what have been some shifts that you've seen within yourself?
What's interesting is I grew up in a home where spirituality wasn't ever discussed. I actually didn't grow up in a religious home or spiritual home at all. My mom was always very tied to Judaism, but very reformed. We did obviously like all the high holidays, Passover, Hanukkah, etc., but it wasn't really imperative in our home. And that's why I actually turned to sports a lot. I've always been really athletic my whole life because I use sports as kind of like an outlet to get out suppressed anger or frustration, because I didn't know at a young age what spirituality was or didn't even care. Like when I first started going to Israel, I was about 20, 21, and I was there just to like party and have a good time and just enjoy my life. And it wasn't until that first trip that I started to hear about my great grandfather and the Baba Sali and spirituality. But it felt very like just like a tale that was told. It didn't feel real. Like when you hear of Buddha, you're like, oh, Buddha. Like obviously everyone knows what Buddha is. And then you're like, cool, spirituality, on to the next. But as we age, our soul evolves. And as our soul evolves, we're looking for deeper meanings to life. Mm-hmm. So now that I have this knowledge and this ancient wisdom and finding ways to constantly implement it into my modern day life, now I can pass it on to my child. And I think it's really important to gain that wisdom simply so you can apply it to your life and every day in a way that makes sense for you. Yeah.
I'm curious to know also, because one of the things that I notice with a lot of women, especially attractive women, and there's a lot of those in Miami, there's a lot of those in LA, is that so much of their self-worth and identity is about their physical appearance, and they haven't done that spiritual work. They haven't done the work to connect in a deeper way to their soul, right? And when it comes down to it, like that's gonna lead to massive vulnerability and insecurity.
Sure.
Because what happens when you get a wrinkle? What happens when you have a pimple? You're gonna feel so unworthy. You're gonna feel so unloved, because your entire life you've attached your self-worth to your physical body.
Correct.
So I'm curious to know, like, is that a journey that you also experienced within yourself? Like when you were in your teens and 20s, and finally allowing yourself to like see yourself on a deeper level? Or do you feel like you've always been connected?
I've actually always been connected. However, I always explain to women, for me, looks are really important. The way you present yourself to the world is important, whatever that may be. You know, we all dress a certain way, do our hair, our makeup for women a certain way, because that is how we present ourselves to the world. Yeah. I have girlfriends that could care less about that would never wear makeup, that would never wear high heels. And I think it's so powerful because they're really authentic to themselves, but they want to show up to the world and present themselves in a way that makes sense for them. Yeah. And I think that's really important. Whatever the message is you want to present to the world, do it, but know that it is imperative that you're doing it with the thought process of, this is how I'm showing up. For me, I do certain things because this is how I want to show up. When it comes to being spiritually connected and having the aesthetic component, it was always a really big mission for me to educate women, and I still do, right? Like, hey, this is what's available out there. This is what I find to be appealing. By no means should you do this if you're not interested, but I love aesthetics. I love the science behind it. I love the knowledge behind it. I love the tech behind it. But what is aesthetics externally if you don't have it internal? What is it internally if you're not showing up fully on the external? And how do we bridge the two? and spirituality and Kabbalah and this wisdom that is in my family lineage constantly talks about the fact that you can have it all.
Yes.
You are not limited. You know, when I hear women say like, well, it must be easy because you're beautiful and you're successful. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't grow up like that. I didn't have money. My mom was a major tomboy, and that's where I get my love for like academia and being athletic and sports. But I didn't have that growing up. So I actually had to teach myself how to take care of myself in certain ways. So for me, it's really imperative to constantly find that balance. And I feel like there's many things I want to improve on, but my strength is finding that balance on how to have both.
Yeah, because I always when people ask me like, what is it like dating in Miami?
Yeah,
like, it must be so amazing. There's so many beautiful people, and I always tell my boys, I'm like, listen, man, Miami is a great place if you're looking to fuck around and have fun, absolutely. But it's a horrible place if you actually want to meet your wife.
But it's all consciousness. You know that you're spiritual.
Of course, and what I experience myself, and again, I'm not like, I'm really so low key when it comes to like nightlife and dating and all that stuff. But because there's such a high standard set, like I have a friend, my friend Angela, literally on the second date, a dude took her to Bal Harbour shops and dropped $22,000 on her. Like,
sure.
The second date. And it's like, there's this ridiculous standard being set. And you know, there's also like the idea in Kabbalah of like bread of shame, like receiving all of this light, but actually not doing anything to be deserving of it,
sure.
if that makes sense.
Sure.
So it's interesting because I feel like what you're explaining right now, like when you do meet a man or woman who you're attracted to physically, but they also have that internal self-worth and self-love, that is the vibration that is like absolutely so magnetic.
Correct.
Because you can really feel it when someone actually loves themselves. And I feel like most people are constantly chasing external validation and seeking external sources to feel that vibration of wholeness.
Correct.
Right?
Or they're really good at explaining it or teaching it, but they're not embodying it themselves.
Yes.
I think it's really important that when we look to others, while we're also simultaneously constantly evolving and figuring ourselves out, what are people like behind closed doors? Are their actions aligning with their words? Are they practicing what they preach? And that is really important to not just understand them, but to understand yourself. Because why is this person in my life? What are they mirroring to me?
Everything's a mirror.
Everything.
Like, that's what I've also learned is like, if you trigger the shit out of me on this podcast, that's not your problem. That's my problem. I'm like, what is it about Liz right now that's like poking at this little emotional wound inside of me?
Am I doing that for you right now?
No, you're not.
Okay,
Not
I was
at all.
like,
but it might. Maybe during this conversation you do. And it's like, we need to actually pay attention to those triggers.
yeah, because it's by no chance that you meet people and like there's like billions of people. What are the chances that you cross paths with someone? It's by design. Nothing's an accident.
Do you believe that we chose our parents? Because that's like this deep belief in Kabbalah, like our souls actually chose our parents. And I know, I'm not fully bought into that idea.
Sure.
What
It's also hard because I know women who have struggled and men who have struggled with sexual assault within families and sometimes parents. And people are like, well, how can you explain something like that? I didn't choose that. There is this belief in Kabbalah, which I truly resonate with, in past lives. And you come to this life with corrections. I have my own tikkun, you have your own tikkun. I definitely know what mine is. I know why my parents are my parents. It's less about, in my opinion, you choosing your parents. It's more about understanding, why is this the dynamic? What am I learning from this experience? And how can I take my pain and turn that into power?
Yeah.
How do you just shift it? Why do we experience so much pain? I've looked at my life and people quite often, unless they know my story, they're like, well, what does she know? She's always dressed perfect and speaks perfectly. But to know me is to understand I've actually experienced significant trauma and pain. But instead of sitting in it, I'm like, okay, how do I use this? And how do I flip it into power so I can teach other women like, hey, don't do this, or hey, do this, because I know what the flip side of it is. And in order to do that, you need to experience it. Life is our biggest teacher. And if you haven't experienced something, all you really have in those moments is thoughts or feelings, but those thoughts and feelings guide you to your authenticity. Learn to lean into that. And when it comes to your parents, learn to lean into, why am I having these thoughts and feelings that I don't resonate with that, but I resonate with this? Take from everyone, take and learn everything, piece of everyone, and then flip it into power.
Yeah, I love that. It really is all about transmuting the pain into power, pain into purpose.
Just alchemize.
It's crazy. I feel like how many people don't have good relationships with their parents. Like there's so much
I didn't until a few years ago.
Yeah, there's so much unspoken resentment, and all of those suppressed feelings and emotions get stored in our body, and they cause pain and dis-ease for generations. Like that is generational trauma.
Oh, for sure.
And that's like why we're doing this work, is so we can actually be the leaders of our lineage and not just keep passing on these outdated patterns.
Correct.
You mentioned tikkun, our soul's correction. What is yours?
Reactivity. And in the past, I've made excuses for it. Like, well, I'm half Sephardi. It's the Moroccan side of me. You know, I'm very passionate. The truth is, without spirituality, I know how reactive I can be. And having this in my life is more than just, you know, some people think, oh, spirituality is just sitting in practice and doing yoga. And I love yoga. I love the physical practices. But spirituality is so much more than that. It's really understanding the root of the wisdom, so you can apply it, so that you can correct your own tikkun. And for me, it's really been, okay, I'm very reactive. How do I pause before I speak, before I get reactive? How do I walk away from my phone so I don't go off on someone?
Yeah.
And without spirituality, without Kabbalah, I don't know where I would be. I wouldn't have such a big following because I wouldn't understand how to talk about these things.
Yeah. Pause. What a pleasure. Pause. What a pleasure. What a gift. I can definitely resonate with that a lot. I feel like emotional reactivity has been also one of my tikkuns. And I do think it stems from a place of passion, of like having ridiculously high standards and a big vision. And when you see...
And a big vessel.
Yes. And when you see something or someone that like doesn't fully align or reach your expectations, it's like, what? Like, how the fuck could you do this? And it's a constant practice. It's a daily practice.
Yeah. And it also helps you observe to see what does align with you in your life. So instead of being reactive and going off on someone, when you choose to not do that, you can actually quite literally see everyone for who they are.
Yes.
And you're not trying to change anyone or anything. And you're like, wait, the way you act doesn't align with me. The way you are speaking and then your actions behind that, it does not align with me and my soul. So thank you for this experience. Thank you for teaching me this. But I have to find things that are more aligned with me. And you really gain that when you take a beat.
Sometimes space and time is like the best medicine.
Shows you everything for what it is.
Yeah,
everything.
I feel like we live in a time where we expect people to like respond to our text within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And if they don't, we freak the fuck out. And it's such a ridiculous standard to attach ourselves to. And it's so easy. I'm pretty sure we're all guilty of like sending a text or a message, and 3 or 4 minutes later, you're just like, what did I just do? Or the next morning, you're like, yo, that was not me.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, I have so many group chats where it's me and my girlfriends being like, wow, had I only just taken the night to not speak and really sit with it, my response would have been significantly different. And that's the power of understanding not just spiritual law, but as you age, as a woman, as a man, understanding the benefit of allowing yourself to not let the boil, you're letting the water boil, and you're speaking while the water's boiling. You can't see your reflection. because you're so angry and it's so hot. But once it dies out and it's still, then you can see your reflection and you speak from a place of calm. And that's what God is, right? That's what the creator is. It's always coming from, that energy source is always coming from strength, love, kindness, understanding versus anger, frustration, being upset.
These group chats with your friends. These group chats with your friends.
What happens in these group chats?
I'm curious to know. These group chats, I'm assuming most of them are with other women.
Yeah, for sure.
What is the most common topic of conversation you guys are speaking about?
Gosh, everything from business to understanding an issue. I mean, I just sent a text this morning to a girlfriend of mine, super spiritual, gorgeous. Her name's Giselle. And I sent her a conversation I was having with someone. And I was just like, well, I don't even know what to say to this. And we just use each other a lot and bounce off of one another and talk about everything. It's needed. Women need communities. Men need communities. We need to be able to bounce off of one another.
Is it Giselle Rentas?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Giselle's a friend, too.
Yeah, she's the best.
She was on the podcast.
I love how you just guessed that, and you were right.
She just joined my gym. She was on the podcast a couple years ago.
Oh, she told me to join
Anatomy?
Anatomy, yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
That would be dope. Oh, my God. That would be powerful.
Ready.
What do you feel like is the biggest thing women are struggling with right now? Because from my perspective, what I see a lot of is we've removed a lot of polarity from the masculine and feminine, meaning there's so much confusion happening right now. We have so many women who are operating from their masculine energy, and we have so many dudes who are not grounded in their masculine. They don't have the ability to lead or provide or protect. And that obviously provides a lack of safety from the women. They're forced to be in their masculine. And sometimes men want to do those things, but they don't necessarily know how. And the women that they're conversing with don't really feel safe, to receive because of past traumas and emotional wounds.
Correct.
And it just creates so much tension. Because ultimately we should be coexisting and co-creating in a beautiful way.
Always. That should always be the agenda. Co-create, create.
We need each other.
Yeah.
We really do. And when the masculine and feminine is in harmony, that's when true magic happens. And I'm curious to know, for you and some of your friends that you're connected to, what seems to be the biggest pain point or struggle that they're going through right now?
There was a lot of questions within the question. So it's
my ADHD.
I struggle with it too. Men and women need one another, whether it's emotional, sexual, professional. There's so much beauty that men bring, and there's so much beauty that women bring. And when they come together, I loved being married. I love being in relationships. I love the dynamic of a male and female energy. The problem is women who are perhaps in their masculine, what I've seen, I know some of the most powerful women in business, and what I've seen is they don't know how to take that hat off when they go home. I did a speaking seminar once at NASA to the women there. It was crazy because there's not that many women that work at NASA. And I was like, oh my God, it was one of the coolest experiences ever, A. But B, what I realized was they weren't doing feminine practices at home or within their own spaces. And where did these ancient spiritual practices come from? The Judeans, the Egyptians, the Africans, they had these traditions where they used products to tap into their feminine energy. The Egyptians did baths. The Judeans did they read Torah, and they did it in places that were feminine, like under trees. The African women, they all had different practices. And when they did that, they were able to connect to themselves. So now, in a world where we're working a lot more, and a lot of us love what we do, great, that's amazing. But when you're not doing that, what are you doing from a place where you're not gaining something, where there's not an end goal? And what I've learned is those are things like painting. There's no end goal. Someone like me, what I'm learning is I'm like, well, it has to look beautiful and it has to be something I hang in my house. No, there needs to be no end goal. You're doing it to have that feminine creativity. That's what feminine divine really comes from. There's no end goal. Singing, walking, just anything without an end goal. And that's where we can really find ourselves in that balance. And same thing for men too, right? It's the same issue. What's the end goal? What am I getting out of this? What's the gain? Is there money? We have to find things that aren't any of that. And then that's where we find that peace. And then we can use men for women. We can use men for what they're intended for. Love and intimacy, not gain, not I'm taking.
Interesting. How would you define intimacy?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's
because let's be honest,
so many.
What I think 54% of marriages in America end in divorce, right? The other 46% that stay together aren't necessarily successful. A lot of them are not fulfilled. They're not happy. And I would argue that intimacy is probably the number one reason why marriages fail and relationships don't work out. So for you, was that your experience in marriage? And also, I would like to know how you define intimacy now.
I don't see my marriage ending as a failure. I saw it as we had a contract together and we have a soul contract. And I look back on it in a really positive light. I mean, my ex-husband's one of the coolest, nicest men. He has a lot of integrity. And for me, I learned after that relationship, other men I dated, I perhaps had a soul, spiritual, sexual connection with them, but they lacked integrity. And for me, integrity is everything. Without integrity, you aren't spiritual. You can know the laws, you can study them, you can recite them, perhaps. But if you don't have integrity, you are not, in fact, spiritual. So for me, that is really imperative. However, what I realized as I aged, my soul was evolving, and I personally require deeper things. That doesn't make my ex-husband a person that's a horrible partner. It just, our contract ended and my soul was requiring something else. This is where the thought process of Kabbalah teaches that you do have different soulmates in your lifetime. Even children are soulmates, best friends. I believe my best friend Raquel is my soulmate. I mean, she was really divinely put into my life. She is a soulmate of mine. But I don't believe that it's failed. I think that's such a horrible thought process behind relationships. It didn't fail. You were put there by design.
Lots of lessons.
You learned and extracted what you need to. And Bezrat Hashem, you gave them also, blessings to give to them as well. That's the goal, right? Like, what did I give you? What did you give me? And let's end this in a way where we are at peace with that.
Yeah, no, that's a really beautiful perspective. And it's always unfortunate to see someone talk a lot of shit about their former partner. And what impact that probably has on the child as well.
Oh, for sure.
So it's amazing to see that you guys have that mutual respect. Is he out in LA still?
No, he's down here.
Oh, he's in Miami.
The whole gang. I got him, Raquel, his fiance. I got another girl to come down here, Brooke, Chef Bay.
Okay.
I convinced her to move down here. I was like, no, we're all going.
I think it's also important what you said though. I don't think any relationship ending is a failure if you're able to actually look back and reflect on all the lessons and all of the areas that you grew. Because at the end of the day, an intimate relationship is like an ayahuasca journey.
I've never done one, but every time I listen to you talk about it, I'm like, if I were to do it, I'd want to do it in a way that really inspires me and not coming from a place where I'm trying to gain anything or heal anything. I want to be inspired.
Yeah, well, the whole thing with any plant medicine or psychedelic is that you're faced with the truth. And the truth can be very triggering. The truth can be very painful because most of us are living in a lie. And we're telling ourselves stories that aren't actually factual. They're just based on emotion.
Correct.
Or
creating illusions.
Exactly. And the reason why I think an intimate partner relationship is equivalent or even more powerful than a plant medicine journey is because all of the times you're triggering me is moments where I'm forced to face myself and face those wounds and traumas. And it forces you to grow and become a better version of yourself.
Correct. Which is this is why, but by the way, this speaks to why people stay in marriages, even if they're really healthy and there's nothing necessarily wrong with them. There was nothing wrong with my marriage. I had a beautiful marriage. He never triggered me, which is perhaps one of the issues I needed to be triggered to understand that my soul needed to evolve. I really think that people stay in marriages, not just bad ones, good ones too, because they don't know there's nothing wrong with it per se. And that's also a problem, right? Because it's just staying comfortable. And when you're just comfortable, and not to say, like, obviously healthy dynamics are imperative to our lives, but there's a difference between saying something because you're comfortable and staying in something because you're confused and you don't know where to go next.
What's the post-separation life been like for you in terms of dating, in terms of exploring other partners? What has that been like, especially, since transitioning over to Miami?
I attract good men. I attract really healthy men, actually. I have also never been single my whole life since I was 16. I've never been single. I've always gone from relationship to relationship. I'm more of a relationship type person, and I can accomplish a lot in a relationship. I like that dynamic. I love like the powerhouse dynamic.
What do you mean you can accomplish a lot in a relationship?
Because I have always loved safety. And when I feel really safe, I can take on a million things. But what I'm being forced to learn now is how to do that without the safety net. That's why I'm really good at teaching it, because I'm like, wait, I understand this because I've experienced it. I've always had that safety net, and now I'm my safety net. So I have to fall back on me energetically, spiritually, emotionally, everything. It falls back on me. And what a time to experience that, right? Like, I'm like, wow, I'm being given a gift that now I'm doing this on my own. And now I can regurgitate this information on how to do this. So when women are moving through it, they do it elegantly and they don't do it in a way that they feel a lot of fear.
That's powerful. So what has been the journey like, though? Like, since, because again, you're successful, you're beautiful, you have all of these amazing qualities about yourself. So I understand why you're attracting high quality men. It makes sense. And it also seems that it could be challenging to find a man that like actually can hold all of that.
Yeah.
Because that might also trigger insecurity in men. Like, oh shit, like Liz actually doesn't need my money. Like, she doesn't need this. She doesn't need the things that most women are searching for.
Correct.
Right?
I need a soul connection.
Yeah.
I need a really emotionally intelligent man that I have a soul connection with, first and foremost. I know that that will happen. It's happened a million times over and again, and this time it'll be where I'm at my highest self. And while I'm gaining my highest self, I'm helping other women gain theirs. And I think my focus right now is what my mission and agenda has been my whole life, to help women.
That's always been the mission?
Always.
Really?
Oh yeah, since I was a kid. I started doing TV with the Steve Harvey show. I had a whole makeover segment where I was helping women. Like, the whole segment was like, Liz Kennedy's gonna help us make over this woman. And I started to realize, I was like, wow, the power that a physical makeover had over these women was life-changing. And they still text me, they still reach out. This is years ago. But I realized backstage I was helping them emotionally a lot. And at first I was like, I am not a therapist. Why is everyone always coming to me for this therapy session? And then I was like, wait, this is a superpower. I have the ability to do both. I want to tap into that. And it's not just about beauty and science and how to use these products to make your hair look like this or your skin look like that. Like, how do we merge the two? And actually, most people don't know this about Baba Sali. He grew up in Morocco. So he was teaching Kabbalah not to just Jews, but to Muslims, Arabs, Christians. It was only like 4 or 5% Jews at the time. And when he died, people from all over the world went to his grave, and they said that he was able to create these incredible blessings and miracles. And I bought a book on Amazon years ago, and like the 8th page talked about how he was so magnetic and that he just brought magnetism and blessings to people's lives. And I was like, wow, like, that is this is my sign, like, this is my gift. So how do we bridge both? And that's always been my agenda. Since I was a little girl, I was always the one that was like, are you okay? Why is everyone feeling like this? Oh, you want this mascara? Do you want to borrow this? It'll make you look better. Like always, that's just always been my personality. So now I'm like, how do I amplify it and speak to hundreds and thousands of women versus just 3? That's why I actually don't like one-on-one coaching. I don't hate the experience with the woman one-on-one, but I'm like, no, I need to reach as many women as possible, as much as possible.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's the beautiful part about what we're doing is able to just like speak authentically based on our experience and impact people behind the screen in all parts of the world.
Correct.
You know, and there's one video that you posted, I think a couple of weeks ago, talking about how like women provide this really powerful spiritual aspect for men specifically. And the engagement was crazy. And I'm curious to know, like, can we dive a little deeper into
the one
that?
about how women protect men spiritually.
Yes.
And how when they're removed, that sometimes their blessings can be. Sure. Ooh, that one, yeah, that one triggered a lot of people, but also resonated with a lot of people. I'm always trying to think of how to say things that aren't super personal because I always try to think of the collective. Women and men bring so many blessings to one another, but Kabbalah teaches that women are the vessel. Men actually weren't allowed to study Kabbalah until they hit 40. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. I broke the rules.
Well, it's cool because this knowledge and wisdom is easily accessible now. So of course, as Jews too, we're also so like we're inquisitive, and that's like we love like always arguing. Like the sages used to sit in circles and argue about Torah, and they would smoke weed and kind of just bounce back and forth for hours. And I would have loved to be in those rooms. Women weren't allowed, but I know I would have figured out how to get in there. But I think that people, if they really understood that women were the vessel spiritually. And this is not to say women are better than men. That is never my intention. We both bring so much value to one another. But we really hold that. That's why we don't have to pray as much. That's why we don't have to study as much, because we already have that gift. Now we can gain other gifts from men, but that is our gift. So when men, for example, the statement of karma, when men treat women poorly, and then they wonder why all these horrible things happen to them. It's not in a sense where like, you messed up, now you suffer for life. It's just circuitry. It's energetic circuitry, that's all. And what a blessing to have a woman in your life that can help guide you. So instead of seeing it in a way that's negative, perhaps you flip that, right? And you say, what an honor it is to have a woman who leads with integrity, who leads with spirituality to help me so that I can help her with other things.
Yeah. It's also interesting to see, and I don't know if you might understand this, but I don't think a lot of women understand like how deeply men love. Like that's for sure the biggest challenge and struggle for most successful men too, is like you'll see someone in their 50s and 60s super successful with all the material wealth, but they were never able to figure out like the love and intimacy aspect of things.
Sure.
And there's that, you can feel that palpable void within themselves, and you see the smartest men in the world, like unable to really magnetize love, and it's sad to see that. And I never knew that's why women didn't pray as much, because like naturally they're gifted with like this more spiritual essence.
Correct. Yeah, wow. It's powerful because imagine the unity and the teachings that men and women can bring one another if they saw it that way, right? Versus like, I dated a guy for a little bit who was like, he got really triggered and irritated with the fact that women hold the spiritual vessel, and like as if he was just there to learn. It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. We share our gifts. We share that duality. I share this, you share this, and then we come together. It's not to say that women are better. It's to say this is our gift. Learn from it, and let me learn from you.
Well, women, it blows my mind how we forget like the power of just simply like a woman having this womb. And this womb is like a portal into the unknown. You're literally connected to the divine.
Yeah.
At all times.
Create life. Yeah. It's crazy when you really think of it deeper than just like, oh, she's a woman who works and has kids, and there's so much there. And if men even tapped into just a little bit of spirituality in a way that I think men just need mentors. They need to feel inspired. Men constantly need to feel inspired. So if they have a mentor who's in line with their work, who's gotten there, and that's why people look to older women and men, right? Older people have wisdom and they love to share it. They love to mentor. Find a person, man, woman, whomever resonates with you, who's in your field, that understands you and your agenda and your mission. Use them. They love to share the wisdom that they've gained in their lives. That's why the greatest sages were all old. They had enough life experience and then they could share that. Find those people. Like I have women in my life, 50s, 60s. I ask them a million questions all the time. It's why I have some of the wisdom I have. You need mentors.
I feel like that's something, at least in America, that
I see your cameraman shaking his head. That's I'm like, yeah, that hit.
Well, Santiago's.
He was like, that hit.
Santiago's from Colombia, and like, obviously you're from Israel, and I feel like in Israeli culture, in South American culture, it's so much more normal to have your entire family be super connected.
For sure.
But in America, there's so much distance between generations.
Correct. And we're here to achieve the American dream, right? Which is beautiful. Like the 3D world, everything physical, we should also enjoy that. That's why we're here, to enjoy the physical. But what if you can enjoy the physical and the spiritual and merge them? Imagine how powerful you could be. Imagine how much light you could bring to the world. It's all meant to be accessed and to be enjoyed. But the wisdom that you gain when you really go deep, it can't compare.
Are you ready to feel limitless in 2025? I'm talking limitless physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, financially. This is your sign to try out microdosing for 30 days. We have a very special opportunity for podcast listeners. You can get started for only $222. This includes the medicine being shipped to you, the highest quality, fair trade, organic, sustainably sourced microdoses in the world at your doorstep. And you also get access to live group coaching calls with me, our private community. This is your sign to take ownership of your life in 2025. If you're ready, hit the link in the description, and I can't wait to see you on the inside. By the way, speaking of mentors specifically for men, this is something I've been thinking about a lot. I feel like there's such a lack of powerful masculine leaders to actually look up to, who are really embodying what it means to be like that healthy, divine masculine.
Sure.
And for the last 3 or 4 years, obviously, Andrew Tate has blown up. Yeah. And there's some things that I actually align and agree from his perspective, but I've just heard so many stories of like teenage kids who like will continue consuming this type of content and like they're so confused.
Sure.
Because there is that lack of leadership. What do you think men need most right now? Like while you've been dating, or your friends' stories from your friends, like what seems to be a common theme of where the masculine needs to improve and rise up?
Integrity. Integrity. Words mean nothing if they don't align with action. They fall flat. Integrity. Doesn't matter what religion you are, what background you are, whether you're spiritual or not. Integrity. That's what's missing. Transparency, integrity, and aligning. Words, actions. They must align. Otherwise, nothing else matters. You could be the most spiritual man in the world. You can be the most spiritual woman in the world. But how are the people closest to you affected by you? Are they better or are they worse? Did they leave inspired? Did they stay inspired? That's really important. Did they leave more broken? Did they leave more whole? Where's your integrity lie? And that's something that young men really need to find, because the goal in the world currently is success, physical success, monetary success, which I love. I think you can have fun and make impact and make a lot of money simultaneously. Why not? Why not? You should, especially if you're creating a lot of impact for the good. But young men and young women really need to find mentors that teach them integrity. It goes hand in hand with spirituality.
That's probably the biggest mistake I would say that I've personally made in my life, in my dating experiences,
Yeah.
or even just and honestly lacking the awareness that I was doing this, but I know it caused a lot of pain to different people.
Sure.
Is like even just connecting with someone and maybe you get intimate, right? And not communicating intentions right away.
Sure.
Now that's something that I'm really focusing on, is even if it's like a friend or potential business partner or potential life partner, it's like actually having those conversations early on. What are
Sets
those
the stage.
Yeah, what are those intentions? Because
And it provides clarity on your behalf too, because sometimes you go into something and you don't know what you want. But it provides clarity on your end more so than anything, because when you're whole and you're certain within yourself, then you're moving through life really intentionally. And isn't that the purpose and the goal, right? To lead with an intention.
yeah, and what I've learned in that process is that a majority of women actually really appreciate honesty and truth, even if it's challenging for them to hear. Even if it hurts them in the short term, they appreciate that integrity.
Always.
They appreciate the truth, because ultimately, truth is the ultimate expression of love,
Well said.
you know?
Yeah.
And I recently actually had to kind of separate from someone for actually, you know, she wasn't Jewish, and like I just made it very clear, and it was very hard for me,
Sure.
like the conversation, but I knew it had to be done for both of us.
Such an awkward conversation too, and it's painful. Because you
Yeah.
never want anyone to feel less than. That's not the agenda, right?
Exactly.
You're just trying to be truthful and honest.
Yeah. But honestly, it went super smooth.
Good.
Yeah, and I feel like I felt so much better about myself for not avoiding the difficult conversation and leaning into the discomfort.
Leaning into the discomfort.
Yo, that shit's hard.
It's so challenging.
It really is.
It's so challenging, but it's like a muscle. It's a muscle that you just keep practicing, keep practicing, lean in. And then it just becomes seamless.
So I love, I personally define intimacy by the ability to fully be yourself with another person. Like
Beautiful.
100% full expression, like you're goofy, weird, cringe, like all of the shit, like
love
your
that.
sensual side. You can just be 100% yourself.
Yeah.
And that is what I think intimacy is. And I'm curious to know if you've ever experienced that with a partner. Like 100%, you don't have to hold back anything. You don't have to suppress anything. You can fully be yourself.
A few partners, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's one of
Yeah.
the sides of Liz that a lot of people don't get to see? Because I think they all see like the buttoned up version, like the hair's done. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
everything's on point. I'm curious to know, what is one of those sides of Liz Kennedy that a lot of people don't get to witness?
I am actually really nerdy. I love to read. When I'm not working, I'm usually like in a hoodie, a zip up, like on my couch, no makeup. I'm super nerdy. I'm really goofy. I was dating a guy. He was like, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. Like, I think you're so amazing. He's like, sometimes I think you're kind of autistic. And I was like, what? I was like, why? He's like, I don't know. You're kind of weird. And I was like, I'll take it. Like, I'm proud of that. Like, I like that I'm different than what people perceive. Once they get to know me, they're like, wow, you're actually like, you're pretty cool. And I'm a communicator. My job is to communicate. My job is to educate. And I want my message to really be there. And that's really important for me. And I'm learning how to mix that with my real life and just always have them entangled without any separation.
Yeah. There's something really sexy about just a hoodie and sweats.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah. My ex
Wow.
always said that he just loved me in like a hoodie and sweats with no makeup.
that's another ultimate expression of love. Is just like, yo, being able to just be in your hoodie and sweats, no makeup, like no filters.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
be able to experience each other's energy of that. Because
Yeah.
like being comfortable is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm definitely
We should do a podcast just in our
I'm super chill
hoodies.
when I'm not working, but there's a time and a place,
Do you think monogamy works? Do you think monogamy is the best method of relationship in 2025?
I'm very traditional when it comes to relationships. So for me, yes.
Yeah.
For everyone else, I don't know.
Did you see the whole thing that happened like a month ago with the Aubrey Marcus situation? Do you know who that is?
The blonde OnlyFans girl?
No. Oh. But since we're speaking about OnlyFans.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm like not up to date with what's going on in like pop culture. I'm the worst.
Liz, speaking about OnlyFans. I think ultimately your son, who's 5.5 now, I think one of the biggest flexes for your son when he's in like middle school and high school is going to be like, yo, my mom never had an OnlyFans. Because you see these girls.
That's crazy it's because that's where we're at. Yeah.
You see these girls out in Miami. I'm not even joking. Like even the ones you would never think, 50 to 60% of them are either like an escort or OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And it's wild.
It's very hard for me because a lot of women will say, well, aren't you all about empowerment? Yes. And if you really feel that empowers you, I think you need to go deeper into your soul, because if you went deep into your soul would want you to be the highest version of yourself. And your body, mind, body, soul, is a temple. And the more that you understand that, the more you want to protect it, the more you actually don't want anyone to touch it or anyone to look at it, because you're so guarded with it, because you know how sacred it is. And once you have children, your children are going to look up to you. And if they know that you were naked and for people to view, it's going to also hurt them. It's natural because they look up to you. They idolize you. Children idolize their parents. And for me, it's always what's most imperative to your soul. If that's going to make your soul happy, do it. But I'm sure if it's just you and I hanging out and we're drinking a smoothie and sitting on the beach, you would tell me, I'm actually doing this because I need the money.
Yeah, of course.
And in 2025, there's so many ways to make money. It's not like when our parents were growing up, there was no internet. You can build online businesses. Anything that you love, I don't care if it's making cookies or politics. Like if you love to make cookies, guess what? There's a whole audience out there in the world that is obsessed with cookies. Yeah. Shapes, colors, sizes, sprinkles, no sprinkles. There's a whole audience for that. If you love politics, there's going to be a lot of people that hate you, but there's going to be a lot of people that you speak to. There's so many opportunities to make money now. It's just finding what speaks to your soul.
Yeah. It's a great time to actually just fully be able to pursue your passions.
Fully. There's no better time.
Yeah, really. Like you said, whether it's Pokemon or baking cookies, like you can literally just go all in and create momentum and create community.
Correct.
What's that journey been like for you? Like, what are your main offerings now? Obviously, you're teaching women how to be magnetic. I know you also are very big in the holistic health and skincare space.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think is so necessary because...
But I also love chemicals. Like I love... Like people are like, do you only use non-toxic? I'm like, no, I want efficacy. In every aspect of my life, I love efficacy. Like if it's working, I want it. Yeah. But yeah, sorry, continue. Because most people just assume that I'm like very, very holistic. I'm like, no, like I love having a drink from time to time too.
I love the balance. The balance. Well, in the European Union, there's over 1,300 banned ingredients from skincare products.
Yeah, I probably use a decent amount of them.
In America, there's only like 11 banned ingredients.
Correct.
Even things like sunblock that's supposed to protect us from getting skin cancer actually have chemicals like oxybenzone.
Correct.
That have been directly linked to cancer.
Yes. But there's also a lot of SPFs that don't have that. And 1 out of 3 Americans get skin cancer. So SPF is actually really critical, not just to wrinkles, because the sun dries you out. So naturally your wrinkles will show more, but it's really critical to protecting the skin because our ozone layer has also depleted over time. So people are like, well, the ancient people like your grandfather. And I'm like, right, but the ozone layer wasn't horrendous. And we didn't have all these buildings and infrastructures and all of that. And it's a blend, always for me, a blend of aesthetics, practicality, and what's best for overall health. And SPF is actually very imperative to health. My
Yeah.
background's an esthetician, so I'm still hardcore
shit.
about SPF.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn,
hardcore.
very jack of all trades. So
Hardcore.
going back to the business stuff, because we were talking about spirituality, and we still need to talk about spiritual bypassing, by the way. Don't let me forget.
Yes.
But I think a lot of times people think there's this disconnection between successful people and like spiritual people.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, my belief is that getting rich as fuck is one of the most spiritual things you can do, as long as you're staying aligned with your purpose and you're using that abundance to create more positive impact in the world.
Correct. And staying true to yourself with integrity.
Exactly.
Correct.
Because you can be very spiritual, but if you're broke and living paycheck to paycheck, it's really hard to actually make a difference and help other people.
Correct.
So for you, like, what's your mindset with business? I know you have a lot of different things going on. Where do you feel most aligned right now?
Always social media. I love social media. I love the ability to work with brands that are really aligned with me and my messaging. I have found so much strength in community via social media. That's actually how Giselle and I met, and how I met like half the women I'm obsessed with and adore. I love speaking. I've been a public speaker basically my entire adult career. I think that is one of my biggest talents, and that's what I like doing a lot. Corporate speaking, retreats, things of that nature, where I can speak to a large group of people.
Yeah.
I really love that. And it's what I excel at. So I'm actually working on a speaking tour now with my team to do major cities: New York, LA, Chicago, DC, Dubai, Tel Aviv.
When's that going to be?
So hopefully Q4. So in winter, we're going to start in Miami, then New York, and kind of go from there. But that's what I love the most. I think there's something about human connection. And as AI comes up more, and as people are more in a digital world, because everyone's like, oh, you're going to be replaced by AI. I'm like, nothing can replace human connection. If anything, it's going to be desired even more, because that's where magic happens. That's where co-creation happens the most, when you get to physically be in someone else's energy. That's the beauty of the 3D world. But yeah, the speaking tour is going to be really exciting. And then just doing what I love to do, help women.
A lot of women, as you've probably noticed, struggle to speak their truth. They have a lot of blockages around their throat chakra. What are some things or exercises that a woman watching this right now can do to just feel a little more expressive and connected to her truth?
Find a hobby, like we talked earlier, that doesn't have an end goal, where you're not making money or you're not doing it to like make it look good for your home. Do something that's creative expression. This is something I've really had to learn, that has no end result. And by doing that, and then doing things like, sometimes I hate saying journaling, because I feel like it's so like marketed at this point.
Yeah.
But writing things down and feeling the frequency of it actually allows you to manifest it. And you can keep doing it over and over and over again until you actually feel it. But it's aligning the writing, the thinking, the speaking. Because why is it called spelling? It's a spell. Words are spells. Everything that you say is projected into the universe. So it's aligning all those things to become the most divine version of yourself.
Yeah. And I think the biggest fear that most humans have is public speaking.
It's actually, I learned this. I had a coach tell me this once. Most people would rather get hit by a car than public speak. I was like, wow, that's insane. Like, I couldn't even believe it. But it's true, because a lot of people, A, have a fear of telling their truth, or B, they'd rather be behind the scenes. Like my ex-husband, he would never do what I do. He has zero interest. He likes being the one to make everything happen behind the scenes.
He's the operator.
Yeah, I'm not an operator. So there's a time and a place for everyone. But if you can find a way, even with social media, to start just speaking to camera, or start something where you feel more, even if the end goal is not to be a public speaker or to be on social media, even if you can start doing that just so you can feel comfortable constantly hearing yourself, so then you can, it's a muscle. Everything's a muscle.
Yeah. I think on a deeper level too, if we're going to address the root cause, I think most people aren't actually afraid of speaking in public. Their really deeper fear is being fully seen.
For sure.
Like, what would it feel like to actually have this attention on me, for people to actually see me fully?
For sure.
And that is fucking scary. One of the things
We do it every day.
One of the
every
things,
day.
One of the things that I tell some of my clients and students to do, like a very simple practice. For example, if you want to start building a brand online and social media, is literally every single day just commit to one selfie story on Instagram. It disappears in 24 hours. Like,
That's
just
a great
share,
tip. Just because even if you don't like it, it disappears in 24 hours. You don't have to look at it ever again.
Share something that's on your heart. Like, that is where you're actually not only going to feel connected to yourself, but that's actually going to harbor deeper connections with other people, because vulnerability is the gateway to true connection. So there's that. And then also just like I think most kids at some point loved singing or dancing.
Really?
Right?
Yeah,
It's like
probably,
just singing along to a song. And it's like we stopped doing that shit. And it's crazy how many people I've given this exercise to that have had like massive breakthroughs where I'm like, yo, 5 minutes a day, just sing to your favorite song. Like It can be in the shower, in the car. No one has to see that shit. This is for you and you only.
Yeah.
And like by just activating that energy through your throat, like it creates more confidence. It helps you become more magnetic.
Beautiful.
You know?
Beautiful. It's just speaking, just saying and speaking or singing things that align with you.
Yeah.
For sure.
So when it comes to magnetism.
It's cool.
Magnetism. Everyone, like when you walk into the room and you feel someone's energy, it's like, oh shit. Like I've been told I'm magnetic many times.
You are.
And, thank you. But there's also times where I feel less magnetic when I'm like in my own head and shit like that. What would you say are maybe 3 keys to really becoming the most magnetic version of yourself?
Yes.
So when you walk into a room, people are like, yo, I want to be around that person.
Yeah. So I see it as a twofold. Energy and physical. Let's start with the physical because we live in the 3D. Physically, you want to wear things and do your exterior in a way that really resonates with you. What outfits do you feel the best in? What makeup and hair make you feel the most beautiful? Physical. Emotional, spiritual, finding a community and women that resonate with you and your messaging, because you guys are going to constantly use each other to elevate one another. So it's that physical component, and then when you're alone, how do you speak to yourself? So you've got the external, then you've got the internal community, emotional. Then when you're by yourself, force yourself to look in the mirror. This is an incredibly initially awkward thing to do. And it forces you to look at yourself, which a lot of people can't do. They can't look at themselves in the mirror. You stare at yourself in the mirror and you say, I am. I am magnetic. I am beautiful. I am successful. I am kind. I am worthy of everything. I attract healthy men. I attract healthy women. I attract business that is in alignment with me. And it's so awkward to do at first, especially if you're a woman who doesn't feel like she's beautiful, if you don't feel like you're confident, and you keep doing it and you keep doing it authentically, because you can't fake anything to the universe. But if you are authentic to yourself, you can fake it till you make it. 2 very different things. You can't manipulate and fake the universe, but you can fake it until you make it if it's authentic to you. People really need to understand the difference between the 2.
You can't fake a frequency.
You can't fake or manipulate a frequency, but you can fake it until you make it if it's authentic and you're being really true to yourself.
And speaking emotion into that. Like when you're speaking to yourself in the mirror, not just saying like, I am magnetic, I am worthy. It's like bring emotion.
You might start like that. You might start like that just to get the muscle. It's again, I say that a lot, get the muscle going until you really feel it. Fake it until you make it, as long as it's really authentic to who you are. And you're not faking being kind. You're not faking authenticity. You're really owning it.
There's a lot of people faking shit out there.
A lot. But is it coming from a place of authenticity? Lack of integrity? Yeah. That's where it's,
Yeah, becoming like really, I think there's a direct correlation between becoming more spiritual and becoming more authentic.
Correct.
Like the more authentic you become, you're going to naturally be more spiritual because you're speaking from your soul. You're no longer so dependent on external validation and the opinions of other people. How has that been for you in terms of like, oh, wow, I might say something that might ruffle feathers.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I do often.
Because coming from the TV world and stuff like that, you kind of have to be politically correct.
You have to be perfect for everyone at all times. There's so much red tape legally, even like what you can speak about a product legally. It can do this, it can't do that. Like I remember QVC and Steve Harvey, I had like 5 pages of things that I couldn't say. And I really learned on TV what I can't say at all times. But you can look like this. Oh, and you look great and you speak elegantly. So perfect. You're great. You're perfect. And this is all the things you can't do. And I was like, whoa. And then I started doing social media and I started like that. I started very like, here's how to do this and here's how to make this happen. And I was like, yikes, like this is no longer TV. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Beauty of social media.
So empowering.
So empowering. So empowering. And listen, there's even some things I've said on social media. I'm like, meh, I could have went about that a little differently. You know, we're humans. We make mistakes. But again, to be authentic and say, I wish I would have done that a little differently.
I have a random question for you. So I was talking about this with Gedalia. And
I love him. He's so great.
I was mentioning that, you know, there's a lot of talk in the red pill alpha male circles of semen retention, no FAP.
Okay.
Right? Not releasing your seed, not watching porn.
You guys talked about that? I didn't see that on the clips.
Yeah. Not watching porn, not being a slave to your desires and instant gratification.
Correct.
And there's been times where I've gone like 2 to 3 months. No porn, no releasing the seed. And I feel like my energy is even more magnetic during those times where I'm like so in control of my energy. And I'm curious to know, do you think women can pick up on that? Like if a dude is loose with his sexual energy and he's just sleeping around, is that something that most women pick up on?
Not only do they pick up on it, they talk about it. We know what they're doing. We all talk. We all have this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm like outing all of us. We all have this way of finding everything out. Yeah. And we all talk because we're all trying to protect one another too. At least the women that are, they understand that frequency of I protect you, you protect me. So not only are you doing yourself a disservice, you're doing yourself a disservice for reputation, for credibility, and all these other things, spiritually speaking. So it's not just physical, it's also energetic. So what you do, you might think that it's just with you, but women are constantly communicating and constantly sharing with each other. So it should be, again, a blend of physical and spiritual thought process of how you're releasing it emotionally, physically, spiritually.
I do think that's extremely accurate. And I also think there's sometimes situations where intuition is wrong.
Sure.
Where it's like, because there's people that have made assumptions about me being like a fuckboy, for example.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, it's just so inaccurate.
Yeah.
Like you've never actually taken a chance to have a conversation or experience me in real life. You know what I'm saying? So I do think there's some nuance to it.
Without a doubt.
Without
a doubt. But women, we typically can decipher.
For sure.
There's the small percentage that can't, but because they're learning that muscle, but typically we can, you know?
And something to piggyback off that, like one of the most common DMs that I'll get from a man, for example, is they're carrying on to a lot of shame. Shame for not being disciplined with their sexual energy.
Yeah.
And watching porn.
Sure.
And doing things like that. And I've gotten messages from women saying that their husband has been doing this, going down these rabbit holes, and it's completely destroyed their connection and intimacy. And there's so much shame attached to that because it's not something you talk about on a podcast. Like,
no,
yo,
it's
dude,
not.
I watched porn for 30 minutes last night and jerked off into a napkin.
Sure.
Like you just don't do that.
Sure, yeah, you don't.
So when you're holding on to that shame, it's causing so much dis-ease and dysregulation within your body. And I'm curious to know, on the other side of the spectrum, for women, where do you think women are carrying a lot of shame in their day-to-day life?
from what I've been told and what I've experienced, shame in how they reacted to certain situations versus really finding their power in it. And that's why I like to do what I do, like finding your power so that you don't have the guilt and shame of moving through a certain situation in the way that you did. Finding your power.
Example, you think? Like, what are some common maybe stories or situations where you feel like that has taken place?
I think myself and other women have all struggled with the shame and guilt of being reactive because we are by design more emotional, which is a beautiful thing. But with that can come heightened emotions, especially with think of life changes, periods, giving birth, ovulation, menopause, like all these life changes. And in other parts of the world, I have a lot of Asian friends. And in Korea, they're obsessed with dealing with hormones. And after pregnancy, they wrap you in seaweed and they drown you in all these minerals and they really help heal your body so that you're more balanced. Here, it's like the wild, wild west, and then we wonder why we're reactive and why we're this. We're on birth control. This girl's on drugs. This one's smoking weed and cigarettes. And all these things are infiltrating the body. And then you're like, why am I so reactive? Well, every day it's something new in the system. Then on top of that, they're doing mushrooms, which mushrooms are beautiful, but where's the balance? It's overload.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because we've helped a lot of moms with things like mom guilt.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know if that's something you experience too, because
for sure.
especially as someone who's like mission driven.
Yes.
It's not like you're home all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the
things, even the women that are home all the time, they have their own sets of guilt and shame.
Of course.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is about finding harmony. Because at the end of the day, like being a mom is a full-time job and it deserves so much respect and reverence. And before you became a mom, you had certain things you were passionate about. You had a purpose that maybe you felt connected to.
Yeah.
So to just throw that all away when you have a child also isn't healthy, I think.
No.
Right? It's about like finding and harmonizing a balance between those two dynamics.
I just did a seminar on this with a bunch of women that just gave birth, whether it was their first or second child. Some of them still work, some of them don't. And they felt all this guilt and shame for wanting to either go back to work or quit. This one girl worked for Macy's for like a year. She's like, I don't even like my job. I don't even like the people I work with. Like, why am I here? I want to be at home with my kid. I'm like, so do it. If you can, do it. Why do you feel guilt and shame? She's like, well, I feel like I should still work because I shouldn't just be a stay-at-home mom. Who says who?
Yeah, says society.
Says who? And then there's this other woman's like, I want to go back to work. I don't want to be home all day. Go. So do it. You have to do what speaks to you and what resonates with you. Otherwise, you're self-sabotaging yourself. It's complete self-sabotage.
Yeah.
And yes, I've definitely felt guilt and shame. I've felt guilt and shame when my son wants me to just like sit and watch a show with him for an hour. And I'm like secretly, he sees me too. He's so smart. He's like, get off your phone. I'll like send an email in the corner and I'm not being present. And then I feel guilt and shame for that. But I try at this point in my life, and I think I'm getting better at it every day. No matter what I'm doing, I stay really present in that.
Yeah. Presence is the ultimate gift, especially
Yes.
for a kid.
Yes.
Like my dad wasn't around that much during my childhood, but he was always as present as possible when he would drive me to school on Wednesdays. Whenever we would have the opportunity to be together, like it was just me and him.
He's so cute. I love the post with him. He's so cute.
Yeah, he's
You can just
amazing.
tell he's like such a kind soul, and he's just like trying to make everyone feel good. You're very similar.
Yeah, I mean,
It's really sweet.
yeah, honestly, he's an amazing man.
Yeah,
the
you can
podcast
tell.
goes live this in 2 days actually.
Yeah. You did one with him?
Yeah.
Stop. I love that.
Yeah. He's a
He's
super
so
good guy.
cute.
Like what a special opportunity though to like be able to connect with your parent in that way and like
Yeah.
ask them any question and have any conversation. So for me it was like
Crazy.
a really amazing privilege. But going back to mushrooms
Yes.
and moms.
Yes.
There's a whole revolution happening right now.
Oh, I know.
Moms and mushrooms, like Oprah has talked about it. The Washington Times posted an article. And
It forces them to go really, really deep.
in my experience, working with a lot of moms with microdosing, they've seen massive improvements and benefits in just their own level of self-love because they were feeling so depleted, trying to provide the best life for their kid, trying to also be productive and work, and trying to provide for their partner. And it's like so much to try to hold at once. And the truth is, like, if you're neglecting yourself, all of the other things are going to be neglected too.
They don't matter.
Exactly. Because like you can try pouring from an empty cup, but ultimately that's never going to be effective. The goal is like to pour from an overflowing cup.
Correct.
Right? And like microdosing is one of those things that has helped a lot of the moms we've worked with just remind them that they actually deserve to be the top priority. It's like, even if it's 30 minutes in the morning, prioritize yourself, take a few breaths, you know, do your skincare routine.
100%.
Like take a hot shower and fill yourself up.
I love that you're saying this, you know, it's like my love language. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. What's your love language?
Like, a skincare routine. I combine my skincare routine with my morning prayer. So I do the Shema while I do my skincare routine. I turn my phone off or I flip it upside down. And then I like always have my coffee and I just speak out loud to the universe. I set my intention, but I also really think about, okay, what did I learn the day prior? What did I do really, really well in my opinion? What can I get better at? And those 30 minutes for me, if I don't have it, I'm just moving through the day differently. And listen, I don't have like, I really respect the women that take like 1 hour, 2 hours. I don't have that. I always say to women that are working moms, not working moms, whatever, give yourself, college students, give yourself 5 minutes. Start small. It doesn't have to be crazy. Whether you pray, don't pray, I don't care. Give yourself 5 minutes to just speak out loud to the universe and to do something that feels good simultaneously, kind of kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah. So wait. What is your love language though? Because you said it was like doing skincare stuff, but if you were to actually label and pick one, what is your love language?
Slowing down in a way that I can like physically do something.
Do you know what the 5 love languages are? Like
yes,
according to the book?
Physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts,
quality time, and acts of service.
Acts of service, yes. So, mine is all. I always joke, I'm like, I'm very needy. I need all of them because I think I give all of it. So
if you were to pick one though, like we all have a dominant one.
Words
of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
Like compliments feel really good to receive.
I love because I'm a communicator, so I love to constantly communicate. Like the people closest to me in my life, they always joke, they're like, you don't have time to do anything. How are you texting me all day? I'm like, because I love you. I need to constantly talk to you. Like I need that, I just love that constant communication.
But when that communication comes to an end, like how do you do when it comes to disconnecting from some of the noise? And
what I physically do to disconnect?
Not what you physically do, but do you ever experience, like, do you ever think you use communication as kind of a coping mechanism to not be with yourself?
In the past, yeah. Yeah, that's something I completely evolved with. Oh, absolutely. I was always in relationships my whole life. I was never alone. I really, these past, I would say 7 to 8 months have had to be alone. And at first I was like, what am I going to do? I used to make Raquel sleep in my home every day to the point that my best friend, people thought she was homeless because she was always with me. I was so codependent.
I love that.
It was crazy. And then I learned like, wow, this is something that I need to really work on. And now I'm like, this is great. Like, so much magic happens in that.
Yeah. I think it's really important and underrated to actually have those conversations about your love language. Because, for instance, like my love language is physical touch.
Okay.
All
Most
right?
men.
But if you're going to call it a toxic trait.
No, it's not toxic.
No. I'm saying my toxic trait would be the opposite of that, right? Which would be like avoidance. So
what sign are you?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay. I dated a Virgo once.
I'm a Leo rising, Virgo sun, Taurus moon.
Virgos are very, they're always thinking.
Yeah. So that, I mean.
Always.
So that, I mean. Now,
overanalyzing, overthinking, like very.
And that's honestly one of the areas why something like microdosing has been super helpful because mushrooms help you take that 18-inch journey from your head to your heart.
Yeah.
So.
Is it exactly 18 inches?
Maybe for you, it's like 19.
I'm like, wait, is that like a real thing?
Yeah.
Because, 18 is also obviously a powerful number in Judaism. So.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
oh my gosh, I didn't even make
connected.
that connection.
Once you read Torah and Kabbalah or Zohar, once you really dive in, the reason I love it is because I'm super nerdy, so I love the codes. I love correlating the numbers to the paragraphs, and why is that? Like, I always tell people, like, remember the movie The Matrix? So they say the codes are in Zion. They're saying that the codes, that all the numbers, the letters, they're literal codes to understanding life. It's just it's so fun if you like that stuff.
Of course.
Yeah.
The numbers, there's so many synchronicities.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's absolutely, it's
Sorry,
incredible.
ADD moment, continue.
No, it's incredible. No, so what I was saying is, I think it's important to have that self-awareness because we all give love differently and we all receive love differently. And the more that you can actually be aligned and on the same page with understanding your own love language and your partners, I feel like there's just much deeper connection and understanding. Because I can be giving you love the way that I like to receive love.
Correct, but it's not what I would need.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've learned that.
For you, it's like, doesn't really do it for me. And I think it's a good exercise for anyone to do is like, what is your love language? So for me, again, physical touch. And when I'm feeling disconnected, when I'm in one of my moods or when I'm not aligned with my highest self, I'm the complete opposite of that. I'm avoidant. And that's how I will try, like in the past, I've been passive aggressive rather than just communicating how I'm feeling.
Sure.
I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make you feel my absence instead. And that's something that I had to sit with and build awareness to because we all have these little ways of being that we're not really conscious of.
Always.
And that's, again, where things like plant medicine for me personally on my journey has been a very valuable teacher at just understanding myself better. And having that level of awareness so I can improve the areas that I don't really like and I can fully align and be of integrity.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well said.
I want to facilitate potentially a mushroom ceremony.
Do you do this full time? Do you teach people this? It's obviously because you're so passionate about it. It's really cool. It's really cool.
I'm manifesting you coming to a mushroom ceremony or maybe you and Raquel doing a private ceremony. That would be sick.
I literally just posted on Close Friends on Instagram the other day. I was like, I had 2 margaritas and I don't drink a lot. And people were like, we want to see Liz more loose and a little more drunk. And I'm like,
yes.
Okay.
I'm aligned with that. No, I think that would actually be really good for you and Raquel to experience a little mushrooms.
Okay.
I'll in a very safe, intentional way.
Yeah.
Going back originally at the beginning of this conversation, you mentioned something about LA, California, how you were starting to feel unsafe, you and your son. And speaking of the importance of safety, because every man wants to be with a woman who surrenders.
Sure.
Right? But in order for a woman to fully surrender, she needs to feel fully safe.
I need men to understand this, and thank God that you are a voice in this space because I really think that you understand that. I don't think you say anything that you don't fully mean, but when you say that, this is why I would like men to follow you. I think it's so great that you're educated in the mushroom space and plant medicine, but when you speak like that, that is really, really important, and I know you actually mean it. Women need to feel safe. A lot of men will say, well, I need a woman to surrender and I need a woman to make me feel inspired and make me feel good. I'm like, you need a mom. That's you needing a mom. You needing a woman who's in your life as a partner is very different. And I know it's your cameraman again. He's like, yes.
Santiago.
Yes, Santiago. Hitting. He's like, that is correct. There's a difference between needing a mommy and needing a partner.
What? And another big difference too is I think there's a big difference between leading and controlling.
Yes.
I see a lot of relationships and even marriages where the man is very controlling. To the point where...
But it stems from insecurity. We know that. Of
course. Yeah. And it gets to the point where the woman doesn't even feel safe texting someone or messaging someone because her partner is paying the phone bill and we'll check the messages. Correct. And it's all living from fear, but then there's the actual act of leading where it's having trust and having faith that your partner can lead you.
Beautiful.
right? And I think there's a huge difference. Like that is more of like the wounded masculine is the control.
Correct.
Where it's like the jealousy, the insecurity. But when you can get into a space of actually like leading from love, like follow me because I know what's best for you and I know what's best for us.
Correct.
And having that full trust and that safety is like, that's a beautiful space that I want to operate from.
Correct. I love that. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. And men, they want that. They want to lead, but they need to just learn how to lead correctly. That's all. Just the learning curve.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can. Something else.
We're doing the best we can in these streets. So we're just doing the best that we can.
Like literally something that came up for me too during.
I love Jeremy so much. We're doing the best we can, guys. You know.
I genuinely think most men. I genuinely think most men actually are good guys.
For sure.
With good intentions.
By the way, this is like when men say all women are like this in Miami. That how many times I hear women say all men are like this. I'm like, what? Whoa.
All men are assholes.
There's a lot of great men and there's a lot of great women.
Yeah.
You're talking about generalizing and who are you? What are you pulling in?
Yeah.
Let's look deeper. What are you pulling in?
Because you attract what you are.
What are you pulling into your world? Stop externalizing everything. Look in.
Yeah, going inward is everything.
Every time I'm like, why this guy? Blah, blah. No, what happened in?
That's
Gotta
always
just switch it.
One of my favorite questions to ask myself is why is this happening in my movie? Like, why is this person showing up in my life at this time?
Yeah.
Why did this challenge or obstacle, why is it happening to me? Why did my flight get canceled?
And knowing the difference between saying, I accept this and thank you for this, but this no longer works for me.
Yeah.
Because some people can be like, oh, well, it goes to spiritual bypassing. This is part of my process. This is what my soul is required of. But where's the accountability? Where's the accountability? Like we were talking about the spiritual bypassing aspect of this, right?
Yeah, talk about that a little bit more because you seem to be passionate about this subject.
I think it's important because as we're gaining this wisdom and we're gaining this knowledge, the concept of spiritual bypassing really comes from the lack of accountability. And people, as we evolve, especially with age, and we're tapping into this wisdom and we're gaining so much knowledge from it, we need to be conscious of not saying things like, well, this is what my soul is requiring me to do, or this is just a part of my process. You still have to take accountability for how you're moving through life and how you're treating people. You can't just be reckless.
Yeah. There's I have very mixed feelings about like the whole spiritual community because I feel like so much of spirituality has become about looking spiritual and sounding spiritual.
Sure.
You know, and at this point, anyone can sound spiritual. Like just fucking chat GBT, like, hey, be a spiritual shaman for me and speak like that.
Yeah.
And it's a little concerning, you know, and especially I see like the dudes wearing the like spiritual hats, wearing the beads, like wearing the proper shirts. And like, it really does come down to just authenticity. It comes down to like how you show up for yourself, how you show up for other people.
Yeah.
Like, how do you treat the janitor? How do you treat the person who's working the reception at your building? It's very easy to treat the successful person that you want something from with a lot of respect. But how are you showing up for everyone? And that is how one of the things that I love to do, like if I am going on a date with someone, is I love to just observe how she talks and treats other people. Like,
beautiful.
How do you talk to the waiter?
Yes.
Like, how are you talking to the person on the phone? Like, these are huge indicators.
Huge indicators.
Of how you're showing up in the world.
Correct.
You know?
Oh, I know. And I think that if you really want to look at how you're improving the life of others, it's not so much about the people you're not closest to, because it's easy to impact those people if you really desire. The people closest to you, how are you impacting them? Are they better or worse? Like we were talking about earlier, like do they feel more inspired or depleted? Do they feel like you're siphoning their energy or improving it?
That's such a good test to do. That's so simple, by the way, for the people in our life. It's like,
And if you don't know, you can ask them. You can ask your best friend. You can ask your partner, hey, what's going on? Let's talk about it. You know, do you feel more inspired, less inspired when I do this, when I don't do that? You know, I mean, typically, you know the answer, but.
And it's like who are the people that you're hanging out with right now that actually leave you feeling more inspired to be a better version of yourself? And then who are those people that you're spending time with and you're not able to fully be yourself? You feel
depleted. When
exactly. Energetically, listen to your body, listen to yourself, because like, especially in a city like Miami, I hear it all the time. Like, oh, Miami is just so materialistic. Everyone's so surface level. Mm-hmm. Sure, there's those types of people in any big city. But there's also so many incredible people here who are genuine, authentic, kind. You just have to embody that energy, and that's what you're going to attract and call in.
I just spoke about this in my TED Talk. And I said, if you don't know how to understand those things, because words allow you to understand, but experience allows you to know, right? But there's some things you cannot experience yet. You can't experience it yet. So the universe gives us other ways of knowing, and that's called thoughts or feelings. And those thoughts or feelings guide you to the authenticity that you are meant to have. Listen to that. Listen to it. It's the universe trying to speak to you. I call it like kisses from the universe, because sometimes you can't experience things yet. Listen to that intuition. It helps guide you and puts you where you're supposed to be.
Sometimes those kisses from the universe are very soft.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
I need them a little more in my face, but yeah.
well, there's usually, I mean, we all have two voices. You have like your inner critic, you have the ego, and then you have your highest self. And the ego tends to be very loud, right? And your highest self is usually these soft whispers. Like, oh, you're about to go do this thing that you know is out of alignment. And your highest self is like, yo, bro, you're better than that. That's not you. Don't do that shit.
So much better than that.
You know?
So much.
And I think a big part of this game called life is actually being able to decipher between those two voices and being able to actually get quiet enough to hear those whispers of your intuition.
It's so interesting that you say that, because even though I've been teaching this for so long, I've even had to learn how to listen to that, you know, and it's so powerful once you can. It really, if I knew what I know now 10 years ago, I think I would have been able to create even more impact and understand at a deeper level. But it's all by design. So
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because my assistant, Annalisa, sitting over there, she is 24. And I asked her, Annalisa, is there any question that you want me to ask Liz today? And she said, yeah. What advice would Liz give to the 24-year-old version of herself? Rewind 10 years. Like, what are some of the things that you would tell that person who wants to be successful, who wants to be connected to her feminine energy and essence, who wants to be at peace, who wants to be confident? What would you tell her?
I would tell 24-year-old Liz, oh my gosh, 24. Where was I at 24? I had just met my ex-husband. I was like a child. 24, I would tell her that you're going to have a beautiful life. Don't step into things nervous. Step into it with full acceptance, because I had a lot of fear. Am I making the right decision? To turn left? Do I turn right? To step into it with full acceptance and certainty. And oh God, I'm like, how do I even answer this? There's so many things.
What's a decision?
Reactivity for me has always been, that's my tikkun. So the less reactive you are, the more you can see everything and the world for what's really happening around you. And the less reactive you are, the more you can fully align. Ugh, I wish I knew that. That's a lifelong correction of mine. But that's also from past life things that I dealt with that I've been told, like, there's a reason for that. And the reason that spirituality is so imperative to my life is because I know what I'm like when I don't have it.
Yeah.
and sports is not enough.
What sports do you play? You should play.
Oh God, I did everything: soccer, track, cheerleading.
Do you do anything now? Like any sports now?
It's funny. I was just talking to a girlfriend of mine about that. I was like, I want to start taking like Krav Maga or like something like.
What about pickleball, tennis?
Well, the guy that owns Paddle, Rafi, he's Israeli. He's in Sunset Harbor. He's like, oh, you should play. Like everyone plays paddle down here. And I was like, all right, cool. Like I'm down to try that. Because usually it's just like a really hardcore class, like berries, Pilates. I go running a lot to clear my mind. But I was like, wow, I was so athletic growing up.
Yeah.
I need to tap into that a little bit again. But for me, probably like a self-protection class makes me feel really powerful. So I would do that.
Some self-protection.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know if your son listens to this podcast
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
What do you hope that he hears?
I just know Jordan so well, and his personality is like mine. Like he's very he loves to like rip on me even at 5.5 years old. Like it's so funny. We have a very playful dynamic, and but a very like respectful one. Like he's always like, "Mommy, I'm so proud of you." Like he's just he's so sweet. I know everyone thinks that their kid is so sweet and perfect and amazing, but I really get told all the time like there's something about your kid, like he's an old soul and he just sees things differently. And I know he's just going to be proud of the impact that I've made. And I want him to be with a woman like me. So I always want to be my highest version of myself so that he wants that too.
Yeah. Kids are so beautiful. It's like I feel like most humans go through this split of their soul. At some point, like when we're here, especially in our first 7 years, right? When our subconscious mind is really being created and cultivated, that really determines a lot of our behaviors and patterns as adults.
Sure.
So I'm sure by your son just like being a sponge and witnessing you, that is programming him in a very positive way.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of parents that underestimate the power of just like embodying that. It
Yes.
doesn't always happen with like speaking, hey, do this, do that.
Showing.
Yes.
Just show.
Yeah. Do you want more kids?
Yeah. I intuitively know I'm going to have a girl. I know I'm supposed to be a girl mom at like one point or another because I have to pass on. I mean, I'm going to be building something really impactful. Who am I going to give it to? I know Jordan's not going to be interested in that. He's going to have his own passions and purpose. He's very into like my ex-husband's super nerdy too and like loves computers and science and like making things and being more physical. So I just know he's going to have different desires. But yeah, I definitely I want one more. I want a girl. I want a little baby Liz. Yeah.
Only one more? Would you be open to more or no?
I really didn't like pregnancy. I was not crazy about it.
Yeah.
I've always been naturally very lean, so all that weight for me and like not being able to eat, like all I could eat was carbs. I mean, every pregnancy is different, they say. So, I mean, I just couldn't stop throwing up for 6 months. So I had a miserable experience. And my birthing experience was really traumatic and I almost died during it. Like it was crazy. So I'm down to do it again. But we also like forget some of like, it's crazy. We're like, oh wow, that was actually pretty traumatic. Like I almost died, but no big deal. Let's do it again. It's totally fine. But yeah, I would do it. I would do it again.
Yeah. Before I throw it to you, because I want you to share whatever's on your heart, whatever we didn't get the chance to talk about.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if you've noticed this. I think it might be a Miami thing.
Okay.
There's a lot of women who call men daddy. Like,
I've heard this. Yeah.
hey, daddy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think some guys are actually like in some weird way turned on by that.
I've heard
For
this,
me,
yeah.
it's
I've asked
never,
guys.
for me, I'm like, no, please don't call me your dad. Like, I'm not your father. It's disrespectful to your dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it speaks to a bigger issue. Like
Yeah.
anyone who's calling a guy daddy probably has major daddy issues.
Correct.
They likely did not have their dad around, or maybe there's trauma attached to something that happened with their father. And now they're looking to these men to fill that void and be the daddy that they never had.
That's a very emotionally intelligent statement to make, because I would think people would understand that, but I guess a lot don't. I grew up without my father in my life, so I know what it's like to have that absence. So speaking from a place of experience, I actually find it really disrespectful to your partner. It's like one of those things, I'm like, I don't know, to each his own, but they're definitely, it's stemming from, everything's stemming from somewhere, right? And your partner's not your dad, he's your partner. So I don't know where the sexual interest or excitement comes from that. It's not, I'm very traditional though, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting.
Very randomly traditional, and then in a lot of ways I'm not. So.
Well, I think that's also a beautiful dynamic though. Like we were talking earlier about, how so many girls are on OnlyFans and even how many like 16, 17-year-old girls are counting down the days that they have until they turn 18 so they can open an OnlyFans account. Like that's a real thing.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But there's also a way where it's like, okay, I don't need to be doing that. I don't need to be exploiting myself and selling my body in that way. And there's also something beautiful about seeing a woman who's like fully embodied in her body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. And comfortable and feels positive about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, the more you become really in tune with yourself, tap into spirituality in whatever shape, way, or form that is, you start to really see your mind, body, and soul as sacred and as a temple. So you don't want people touching it. You don't want people always staring at it. Like even since I was a young girl, I remember saying to my best friend, I was like, I don't really like being half naked in a bikini around strange people. Like why should they see me half naked? And she's like, you're on a beach, Liz, like calm down. I'm like, totally, I understand that. But my Muslim and Arab girlfriends, when I've spent time with them or I've been in places that are more religious and they're fully covered, American society worldviews, they're like, oh, it's so derogatory to have women covered like that. I'm like, well, for them, they actually feel empowered because the person's really seeing them.
Do you think
not
most
their bodies.
women in those cultures though actually want to like conceal themselves the way that they do? Because a lot of them can't even really show their hair too, right?
Yes. So there's extremes, right? There's extremes in every situation, and I don't like extremity in anything. But I think that they actually, as they age, they see it as a power. They're like, I'm so beautiful. Like I remember being my first time in Dubai, I saw these women fully covered hijab, and they were stunning. Like they belted it. Like you could still see that they're gorgeous, their faces, like everything, their style, and they had such a power. I saw it as very powerful. And I was like, whoa, like she walked in and you felt her energy. So they're looking to be seen energy first. That's where their power lies. And that's cool. There's a power in that.
Well, I can definitely see that aspect of things.
Yeah, like wow. And she's like, she loves it. So for me, it's always coming down to finding that balance. But I think it's really beautiful, and I think it's very powerful.
Yeah. Well, have you had fun?
Yes, I knew I would.
I feel like I apologize because, I've been diagnosed with ADHD since I was a little boy.
Same.
My teachers always said to my parents, since I was 7 years old, my parents were told like, yo, Jeremy's a sweet kid. He's a good student, but like, he's just all over the place. Like I was the person that was just like a class clown, and
Same.
I would do spitballs, and I would like try to make everyone laugh, and I would also do really well in school. It was a weird dynamic, and I feel like some of that is carried over to being an adult. So
By the way, people wouldn't assume, but I was the same way, like total class clown. I was always talking.
Yeah.
I was always getting in trouble for talking, and I made a career out of it. So
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful that you were able to like
out.
surf these waves with me. It was an interesting ride. What did we not talk about? Like, what's something that maybe you are feeling called to share from your heart that we didn't have the chance to cover yet?
I honestly feel like we spoke about everything. This is, I never get nervous to public speak or go on a podcast or anything, but I know you and I know that you always go really deep. And so do I, but I don't ever talk about certain things that we talked about today. And I think it was really powerful and impactful for me because it always is a segue to just always keeping it real. There's a difference between keeping it real and then always. And I think what you are really talented at is you are always 1,000% keeping it real. And I think that's cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. Trying, doing my best. Doing my best.
I love you said it earlier. We're all just doing our best out here.
We really are. Let me see if Yahil. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to look at my messages. There's so many. I'm curious to know because one of the journeys of actually being authentic, right? Like becoming authentic requires you to detach from being liked.
Yes.
You know? And I think that's one of the things I've actually gotten really good at is not giving a fuck about the opinions of other people and being willing to lose friends and lose followers, you know, along that journey. And there's something that puts me very at peace knowing that I share as much as I share. Like I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I share things that might trigger the shit out of you, but at least you know where I stand.
Always. Sure.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that is just a good place to live life from because I don't have to like hold anything in and suppress things. Now, obviously there's things that I don't share publicly because they're private and personal, but like I think being authentic is like the ultimate currency, especially in the age of AI where anyone can appear to be
Replicate.
Anyone.
Sure.
It's like, what are you going to stand on? Like, I'm standing on my authentic expression because there's only one of you. There's one of me. Like, out of all the 8 billion people, no one can compete with you on being you.
Correct. I think also that the aspect, the thought process of authenticity, I grew up, my name was changed. My name's not really Liz Kennedy, as you know. And I grew up in a time where I felt really conflicted. I felt like my name didn't represent who I really am, but the Ashkenazi side of me is Liz Kennedy and the Sephardic side is Sivana Buchatzera, and who am I? And then I thought to myself, well, I am all of these things, but how do I express that? Because it's important for me to not be understood, but to just feel seen, because as a child I wasn't, and I had so many names and backgrounds and who am I to the world? And then I realized so many other people struggle with that in their own ways. So if you can start to really just sit with yourself and say, what makes me feel the best? What is my message to myself and to the world? It's a start. It's a start. That's how to find your authenticity.
Yeah, just sharing your story, sharing the journey. Because like, how cool would it be if we were able to see, you know, our grandpa, our grandma, like how cool would it be to see our ancestors when they were our age? And that's something I also think about. I'm like, yo, it's going to be so cool for my future grandchildren to be able to go back and see some of these ridiculous things that I've said on social media, these videos. Like they're going to be able to see me dancing and having fun and podcasting and just
being you.
Exactly. And that's so cool. Like if you have that lens and that perspective, like, oh, wow, I'm not just creating this for me.
You know, that's why people follow you, because I feel like a lot of your followers may not even follow you because they even agree with anything that you're saying. There's this woman that's in beauty that I view things completely different than her. Her politics, where she lives, how she dresses. There's nothing technically that we would have in common, but she's so authentic to who she is and what she likes and how she thinks. And I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Because most people can't do that.
Yeah.
So if I'm a woman or a man following you and I don't even agree with half the things you're saying, I'm like, wow, but look at him. Like he's living authentic. You see it in your eyes. You see it the way you move. Like most people can't do that. And that's a superpower.
See it in my eyes, Liz.
See it in your eyes. You're like, you light up when you talk about these things.
Yes.
It's cool.
You know what's cool too? Is being Jewish. That's been a big part of the journey the last 18 months.
I love Judaism.
That's been a big part of the journey.
Same. Going from Liz Kennedy to remembering who I really am.
Did you have any final questions, Annalisa, for the one and only Liz Kennedy?
No.
Have you ever struggled with being Jewish?
Yes. It's interesting because growing up in New York, you're always like, oh, well, you're surrounded by Jewish people, so it's not that serious. Once I started talking about it on the internet and seeing people say things like, I worship Satan, Kabbalah's witchcraft, which the irony is women who were healers or men that were healers, they were considered witches or warlocks because they were able to heal themselves and to heal others. A witch wasn't really perceived to be a negative connotation until man made it negative, because they were really just the healers. They used herbs, they used words, they healed themselves and others. Like anything in life, there's the dark and the light, so of course it can be used negatively. But being a witch was always like a positive thing because they were healers. So when I started to see all these things, and then I was like, wait, like, do I study horrible things? Is it? And I'm like, wait, no, this is crazy. Like, I know what this is. I know the light that comes from it. And it was very challenging for me to see people say these things. I didn't realize how many people really thought like that. And then the New York Times just recently came out with an article stating that anti-Semitism was the number one issue, more than LGBT, more than Muslim or Arab, more than any form of hate. And that really threw me for a loop. But then I was like, not really, because some of the messages I get are, that's why I don't post my son on social media ever.
Yeah, I mean, the hate crimes towards Jews in the last year and a half is absolutely insane. In fact, I think New York just voted for this incredibly anti-Semitic mayor. I think he won the race, or governor.
Yeah.
He was gonna arrest Benjamin Netanyahu.
Did he win?
Yeah.
He would arrest Bibi.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's super overwhelming. But the truth is when we are told that we're the chosen people, I think a lot of people also hear that and they think that Jews automatically assume they're better. Biblically, I can't speak because I get so emotional. I get so emotional thinking about this, because it's like we're actually chosen to lead by example. And if we want to make it spiritual, which everything is spiritual, the reason that there's so much hate and fighting in the world is because Israel has always been the heart and the soul of the world. And when we're divided internally, or we're not acting like being chosen and leading by example, the rest of the world is in chaos. So it's actually our issue. And we chose this soul in this lifetime to be Jewish, which is a huge undertaking if you do it correctly, because you're supposed to lead by example. So
this was a lot of fun. I feel like we're going to have to do a round 2.
I know. There's so much we could always talk about.
Because, there's so much that I have written here that we didn't even touch on.
I'm sure.
And I'm just like, we definitely need to talk about the feminist movement.
Yes.
And how it's fucked up a lot of women in 2025.
Yes.
Like, we got to dive deep into all of these things.
Yeah.
But I just want to acknowledge you before we end. Thank you.
Thanks.
Liz.
This is lovely. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for just showing up in the way that you show up. I know we haven't known each other for very long, but really grateful to build a friendship with you. And I'm excited to just witness your journey of creating a lot of impact in the world. And really just living your truth and living your purpose. And it's inspiring. And I'm really grateful to have you here.
Likewise. This was really fun. Thank you.
Amazing. Much love, everybody. Thank you for watching, listening. Give it a thumbs up. Share this episode with a friend, because, word of mouth is my oxygen. So make sure to follow Liz. She's doing a lot of cool things. We'll link to everything in the show notes. And where can people find you, actually?
TikTok, Instagram, @Liz Kennedy.
All right, perfect, y'all. We will link to all that in the show notes. Much love. Have an amazing day. Peace out. Let's go.
Awesome. That was really fun.
You did it. You made it to the end of the show. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, your support in listening to this podcast. And really, my mission here is to deliver the best conversations, the best people, so you can continue elevating and becoming the best version of yourself. And all that I ask in return is that you actually take action on the things that we talk about in these conversations, whether it's certain habits to implement or certain thought patterns or belief systems that you want to reprogram and remove from your life. I just want to remind you that your life is your gift, and you are the creator. You are the main character of your movie. So please, please take action on these things we discuss. And tag me on social media. Tag me on Instagram in your stories at Jeremy Awakens. Let me know what stood out the most to you. Let me know what were some powerful moments for you from this conversation. And finally, if you haven't already done so, it would mean the world if you left a review for the podcast. Word of mouth is our oxygen. This is what allows us to reach more people and impact more lives. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you next time.